Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities. Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroll Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things...
Good morning, I'm Wendy Burke, and this is the CBC Morning Report for Wednesday, January 24th. In our top story, the private sector is again facing calls to play its part as it benefits from the reduced cost of doing business. Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey says such players who are not passing on these benefits are doing an injustice to citizens and the country. Minister Humphrey was at the time contributing to the debate on the facilitation of International Maritime Traffic Bill 2024.
We have a responsibility to stay on task and to make sure that these benefits are passed on to the people. Because where else in the world are you seeing a government surrendering this amount of money at a time like this? Governments all over the world start cashing. This government making a decision to surrender a significant amount of the revenue to allow serve business to operate at a reasonable level, but that, if we are being honest, most of us do not feel that we are seeing those benefits being passed on.
Canadians will now have to pay a bit more for getting some legal documents witnessed by commissioners of probate. This was revealed by Attorney General Dale Marshall as he spoke on the Commissioners of Probate's Bill 2023 in the lower house.
We're increasing the fees to a somewhat more realistic amount. A deed other than a power of attorney, the fee for the witness, for the acknowledgement of a witnessing of a power of attorney is $25. Property, a deed where the property is under $500,000, $25, where it's over $500,000, $50. A far cry from the maximum of $4 that was allowed under the old legislation. Mr. Speaker, the fact is that this is still necessary. We still have attorneys, people involved in transactions who are trying to get documents properly witnessed. It is perhaps, as I said, of less relevant today, but still of some importance.
Coming up on the CBC Morning Report, we'll tell you what the Guyana Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit is doing as it battles the drug trade. Guyana's Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, in its fight against the drug trade, has broadened its collaboration beyond traditional partners. The enhanced interagency collaboration, locally, regionally, and internationally, has been paying off, leading to convictions. NCN TV reports.
Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit head James Singh says the men, he says, had extensive histories in drug trafficking.
While the media and others refer to them as big fish, for us, been linked to narcotics over 20, 30 years. We were able to successfully conduct operations against them that resulted in seizure of drugs. We were able to put them before the court. And despite the lengthy process, we were able to secure some convictions. So I would be the first to say that that has been a tremendous boost, not just to the morale of the unit, but also to show that the unit is going after persons whom they deem persons of interest.
As KANU continues its pursuit of a drug-free Guyana with support of government, James underscores the agency's dedication to staying ahead of emerging challenges through international collaboration, training, technological innovation, and a community-oriented approach. During the year 2023, KANU seized more than 1,300 kilograms, nearly 3,000 pounds of narcotics, consisting of cannabis, cocaine, ecstasy, and hashish. Already for the year, they have seized more than 161 kilograms of cannabis.
In the Bahamas, the opposition Free National Movement is calling out the Davis administration for what it calls a failure against crime. They took their message to the office of the Prime Minister, where party executives say their suggestions have fallen on deaf ears. We have a report from Our News.
The violence on the streets of New Providence continues, and leader of the opposition Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, says the Prime Minister is out of office on crime.
The Prime Minister is halfway around the world at a meeting that other colleagues could have attended in his stead. And he's busy in safari.
This past weekend, a man was shot dead on Friday, another man was shot dead on Sunday afternoon, and hours later, a woman was fatally shot Sunday evening. Pintard says it's time for government to take back the streets. More action, less talk.
We look at this month alone, 17 murders have been committed in this month that has not yet ended. Enough is enough.
Pintard says the Prime Minister, his National Security Minister, and Police Chief are not on the same page.
The Prime Minister has one view on how we ought to combat the gang issues. The Minister of National Security, on the other hand, points out all the legal impediments to the approach that the Prime Minister has offered. The Prime Minister says it's too much crime. We say it's a crisis. We say it's an epidemic. The Commissioner of Police says they have it under control.
Director of Communication at the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Raman, feels otherwise, though. He says the FNM is currently playing party politics.
So I think we are extremely disappointed that they choose to play politics. I think the people are disappointed that they choose to play politics. And we need and we demand more from our political leaders in moments of national crisis. If you are serious about holding hand with the government on crime, be serious. But don't do the political games. Don't come in for the PR stunts.
Pintard says it's no political game, though. Punching back, he says if boots are on the ground, there seems to be no proof in the pudding.
The government has bragged about how many officers they have hired, how many new vehicles they have gotten. The evidence of it over the hill in the communities is simply not there. So that's one thing we would do. Saturation. Saturation is made more effective when you're using drone technology coupled with using CC television. If private citizens have ingenuity to do this in multiple communities, shouldn't the government be able to exponentially do much better?
And he's posing these laundry list of questions.
Where is the saturation patrol? What prevents you from parking the mobile van in the hotspots? Or order police cruisers in the areas that you know are hot, that you know where people are warring?
And this just in, education officials say only 7 students were in attendance at the St. Bartholomew's Primary School for Class Tuesday. That day was supposed to be the first day of the resumption of classes since last Thursday's premature closure. The Ministry of Education was made aware an individual at the school was reportedly turning away parents with their children, citing ear effects from incineration activity at the Grantley Adams International Airport. However, a check with airport officials revealed there was no incineration activity at the plant Tuesday. Ministry officials, along with union officials, visited the school to determine the source of the discomfort being experienced. However, it remains unclear what actually precipitated the action. The school was determined to be unsuitably equipped to conduct a full day of classes, hence the closure of the school. The ministry awaits an official report on the incident. In the meantime, the St. Bartholomew's Primary School is scheduled to resume normal classes today. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre has stressed the significance of government processes and cautioned politicians against posing as authorities on everything. Addressing reporters, Pierre said the executive he leads aims to be an administration of protocols that enables professionals to do their jobs rather than micromanaging them. More in this HTS story.
He contrasted that with what his aides view as past administrations, where unqualified elected officials billed themselves as self-styled know-it-alls who oversimplified complex disciplines and issues that require the advice of trained experts in decision-making.
You see, our government is a government of processes, and this is what, and it's difficult to understand processes, you understand? Because what we've been using is one man is an engineer, he's a doctor, he's a quantity surveyor, he's a mechanic, he's a hospital administrator, he's everything, one man. And that's a problem, you understand? And this is why we find ourselves in the situation that we find ourselves, because we do not allow professionals to do their work. Of course we have issues, but professionals must be accountable. So what has happened is that politicians have tried their best to pretend that they have the answers to all the questions in St. Lucia. They're not. So our government is a government of processes.
The Prime Minister said politicians must remember that as elected officials, their roles are temporary and they serve at the behest of the public. He warned that the post of Prime Minister is not meant to be a permanent or inherited, arguing the head of government presides over state affairs, not rule.
I want to tell to all budding politicians, those in my government, those who want to see government, that being in government, especially as a politician, is a temporary phenomenon. When you're in your father's business, you can inherit that. But you don't inherit governments. Governments are not left for you because you believe that it's your place. People elect you. And I've been very, very fortunate. People have elected me 6 times to represent them. I will thank them profusely for that. I will never not have gratitude for the people of Cassis who've elected me 6 times. My single greatest achievement in life was to be elected 6 times by the people of Cassis.
Pierre said ministers should focus on developing policy and making resources available rather than pretending to have all the answers themselves.
In the ongoing discourse surrounding the myriad factors influencing crime rates, a prevailing sentiment among certain Jamaican communities points to the potential role of dancehall music. This conversation, which has persisted for years, has been reignited as dancehall artist D-Eruption recently offered his perspective on the matter, injecting fresh fuel into the debate. CVM Television has the story.
For years, the critics have argued dancehall music directly influences crime and violence in Jamaica. In fact, a Don Anderson poll found a cumulative 82% of all Jamaicans believe there is a connection, ranging from big impact to little.
41% said we gave them a 5-point scale, very much, somewhat, little, not at all, not sure. And 41% said that they believe that dancehall music has a big impact in terms of criminal behavior. Another 30% were not so definitive. They said somewhat. All right, so there's some impact of dancehall music on criminal behavior. And 11% said a little.
Another 11% said there was no connection, while 7% weren't sure. The veteran pollster says the survey sampled over 1,000 people and, without a doubt, suggests the general public believes dancehall music plays a role in Jamaica's high level of crime and violence.
There's a connection in the minds of the public between dancehall music and the influence on criminal behavior.
It's a claim dancehall artist D-Eruption says he can't deny, but argues that the violent lyrics are merely a reflection of Jamaica's dire reality.
We can't sing so cow jump over moon, cow not jump over moon. We have to sing about the violence them and all of them things that actually happen in the country.
And though he expressed awareness that music can influence one's behavior, especially impressionable youth, he asserts it's the role of parents and guardians to monitor and filter what their children consume.
I know music has a lot of influence, but each man to them own nice sense where everybody have to always in the right state of mind now to understand this is just music. An artist is an artist, artist is not a gunman.
This debate continues to surface as Jamaica ranks among the most murderous, crime-ridden countries. Nearly 1,400 people were killed in 2023, and already around 20 have been confirmed dead since 2024. Anderson believes for the government to finally get a handle on crime, the leaders must address and advance the findings of the 2022 poll in a more qualitative way.
Lebanon is warning against Israeli attempts to drag the country into a broader war by expanding its attacks in the south of the country. Israel is demanding Hezbollah forces pull back from the border and says a unilateral ceasefire won't be enough. Al Jazeera's Zina Kodur reports.
Israeli forces say they are targeting Hezbollah's military infrastructure. At times, that means homes in border villages. Officials in southern Lebanon say up to 250 have been destroyed and 6,000 others damaged along the 120-kilometer border in the past 4 months of fighting. Israel appears to be creating a new reality. It says it doesn't want its northern border to be vulnerable as its southern one was when the Palestinian group Hamas attacked in October. The Israelis want Hezbollah forces to pull back.
Through its attacks, Israel is trying to push the resistance kilometers away from the border, and it's doing it by force, displacement, but slowly, meter by meter, but it won't be able to achieve this.
The streets and villages in southern Lebanon are empty. Officials say that around 80,000 people close to the border have been displaced. Daily life has been disrupted, but the handful of those who stayed are defiant.
They have tried us in the past. Nothing will make us leave, not their planes, artillery, drones, or white phosphorus. We will remain steadfast because this is our land. It is Israel who should be afraid.
So far, the warring sides have confined attacks to military targets, but nearly 30 civilians, including journalists, have been killed.
Officials here are warning against Israel's attempts to drag Lebanon into a broader war. They accuse it of expanding the scope of its attacks while threatening and promoting proposals that are rejected, such as pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River, which is about 25 kilometers from the border.
Hezbollah says Israeli threats to expand the conflict are just rhetoric and pressure to reach a deal. But Israel has escalated its fight against the group, and for now at least, it is trying to destroy the party's strength south of the Litani River.
Time to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. This morning, we will be talking with Hermab once again. Yes, we'll be talking about how to cultivate a holistic approach to HR and employee well-being. We will also be speaking with Verdun House. As you know, it's still January, so we're dealing with Drug Awareness Month. Verdun and Marina House will be here to speak with us. And we will also get to meet some exceptional youth. Yes, our young people who are achieving. We'll get to meet a little golfing sensation. Also this morning, we'll be turning the pages yet again as we introduce you to a new author. So all this and more coming up on Morning Barbados. But first, more news, sports, and weather after the break.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning
If all goes according to plan, Barbadians and other Caribbean nationals will have a private ferry service by year-end to travel to select regional countries. The tentative timeline for the Connect Carib ferry, which is being operated by the Pleon Group, was announced this morning by its chairman and CEO, Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas. It is a separate $50 million plus US dollar venture that was announced recently by some Caribbean prime ministers.
We're looking initially at starting with 3 vessels. One will have a capacity of around about 800 passengers. It will have about 200 first-class cabins where people can lie down, sleep, with bathrooms and everything. So it's going to be a great customer experience. It will have restaurants on board. It will be very similar to a cruise experience. And then we'll have a fast ferry that will complement that. And then we'll have a cargo ship, dedicated cargo ship, that would move between Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, and St. Lucia.
Over 270 people are expected to find jobs in the first phase of the project. And Ambassador Thomas notes the number will increase as the different aspects are rolled out.
They'll be created in many different areas. So there are jobs, obviously, that will be created on the ferry service itself. And so those jobs, the jobs that will be created within the headquarters, that's the second level of jobs. There are also jobs that are going to be created in the cargo division, and then the jobs are going to be created from the e-commerce division, because the e-commerce division will need to have folks that the goods have to come into the warehouse. They have to be verified. Then they have to move. So there's going to be warehouse jobs created, and then there are going to be jobs created in every single destination that the ferry service goes.
More women appear to be heeding the call to get checked for breast cancer. The result has been a growing wait list for the mammograms at the breast screening program of the Barbados Cancer Society. The revelation was made by medical coordinator Dr. Shirley Jagru.
The request for screening at the breast screening program has quadrupled over the few years, resulting in physical accommodation problems, which is gross. It hurts my heart to see patients waiting in the corridor. And a waiting period of 4 to 5 weeks for screening mammograms. Hopefully, this will be corrected in the not too distant future. I'm working diligently on improvement of physical space. However, I can reassure you, urgent mammograms are done within 24 hours.
CBC First Caribbean International Bank presented the program with a check for $200,000, the proceeds of last year's fundraising efforts. The bank's managing director, Donna Wellington, said they included the popular Walk for the Cure, a coin drive for customers, and the highly successful online banking option for donors.
This is our direct contribution of everything that we raised in 2023. And this is a very similar amount to last year. When the regional tally is calculated, it will be much more, as the bank mounts walks in every single territory in which we operate. So far, regionally, the bank has raised in excess of $3.5 million over the past 11 years for this cause.
The funds will be used to upgrade the program's 20-year-old PACS system, which is where medical images are stored. The installation, which should be done in the next 2 months, will be done at a cost of $250,000, payable over a period of 3 years. For access to information and vaccinations at an international health meeting on pandemic prevention, preparedness and response. Representatives from several countries are working on an accord and a series of updates to existing rules on dealing with pandemics to shore up the world's defenses against new pathogens after the COVID-19 pandemic. Member states of the World Health Organization want to present the outcome of their work to the World Health Assembly in May of this year. Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George doesn't want small island developing states excluded.
You are well aware, Barbados is tourism developing. It's a SIDS country and its economy is based on tourism. And therefore there is significant travel and movement of people across our borders. So there are 3 interventions. We need timely sharing of information to small island developing states. We need to have equal access to technologies and other areas in public health, such as access to vaccinations on an extremely urgent basis and not very late into the pandemic. And we need to finally make sure that states such as Barbados, who do not have much human resource capacity to be at the negotiating table, their voices need to be heard.
In sports now, England won their second match in the ICC Men's Under-19 World Cup by defeating host South Africa by 36 runs in a rain-affected encounter. Steve Stokes smashed 64 as South Africa were bowled out for 230 in 49.2 overs. Noah Thean then hit a half-century before lightning and rain stopped play at Senwood's won by the Duckworth-Lewis-Stern method. New Zealand beat Afghanistan by 1 wicket in a low. Winning the toss and electing to bat first, Afghanistan were restricted to 91, with New Zealand bowler and player of the match Matt Rowe snatching a 5-wicket haul with figures of 5 for 21. New Zealand then struggled to reach the low total but ended on 92 for 9 in 28.2 overs. It's time now to take a look at today's weather picture. The barometric pressure stands at 1014.6 millibars and the temperature is 25.3 degrees Celsius. The humidity is 87%, with the winds coming from the east at 37 kilometers per hour. It's presently cloudy. The seas are moderate in open water with swells ranging from 2.5 to 3.5 meters and increasing. A small craft warning is in effect for above normal swell heights. The tides, the first high tide was at 3:13 a.m. and the second will be at 2:57 p.m. The first low tide will be at 8:39 a.m. and the second at 9:54 p.m. The forecast for today, it will be a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few scattered light showers. Tonight is expected to be partly cloudy with a few scattered light showers. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 p.m. and our World at 1 via our radio network of stations. Time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning.
And a very good morning to you. We're already in the middle of the week. Yes, imagine that. Already January 24th. This morning, we're going to be having quite an interesting program. We're going to be talking with HERMAP. We're also going to be talking with the folks from Marina and Verdun House. We're even going to find out about how a special crochet project is going to be coming online and what that's going to be doing. But we're going to be discussing cultivating a holistic approach to HR and employee well-being. And Miss Dr. Carrie-Ann Pert is here to help us. She's an organizations and systems psychologist. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I am well, and here's hoping you are too.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year to you as well. The month is almost over. Now,
yes.
We're talking about how to cultivate a holistic approach. This is a word we keep hearing all the time. So based on your professional experience, how are organizations here in Barbados as well as the Caribbean, really handling the well-being of HR practitioners as well as employees within that workspace?
Yes, I think it is a burgeoning area for us in the Caribbean to actually think about workplaces being well, right? We go to work to just work for the most part, get the paycheck, pay the bills, and repeat. But given the trends since COVID, post-COVID era, I guess we can say, we have seen an increase globally on rates of burnout. I know you guys were discussing that with Julie Turney the last time. There's a global increase in that. There's also a global increase in the ways in which people are not necessarily being equitably served within their workplaces when it comes to well-being or wellness on a whole. A lot of organizations still think that, having their employees take gym passes or classes around cooking and better eating habits is a wellness program. But by and large, we're missing the mark when it comes to mental health, emotional well-being, and the stability around that. So it's an area here in the Caribbean that we have a very good opportunity to build on and think about strategically and critically.
Okay, now when we talk about the wellness, the issue is that workspace even built and designed, for us to be well? Are there spaces that we can go and open a wide window and just breathe as opposed to, all the things that we're talking about? And not only in terms of the construction and how it's set up, but are companies making tangible and positive shifts to get it done if it's not already entrenched?
Right, there are a few. There are a few companies here locally and regionally that are allowing employees to do, walking during lunch, encouraging that type of out in the sunshine, getting your vitamin D type of opportunities. So there are a few companies that are understanding the shift that needs to be made and working with the assets that we currently have within the region to make those things a little bit more accessible and easy for their employees. We still have a number of organizations that think they need their employees to be locked up in cubicles in order to do work. And that is not the case. A lot of individuals after the COVID-19 episodes recognized that they got a lot more work done in a shorter amount of time when they worked from home. So having hybrid opportunities for individuals has also increased that kind of shift towards better emotional health and mental health for employees, inclusive of HR employees, given how HR can be so strapped, right? I think a lot of people don't understand the limitations of HR. They see HR as that kind of barrier between them and the organization. And I remember telling a colleague that HR is seen as that gatekeeper, right? They know where all the secrets for the organization lies. When really and truly, HR itself is a system that needs to be repaired. There is a lot that needs to go into the reconstruction or the redesigning of HR itself, as well as organizations. And so putting in this wellness component and thinking holistically and thinking systematically about how to integrate well-being into organizations is something that I think some companies are recognizing, and we're hoping that a lot more can catch on.
Okay, let's hope they can. Now, when we look at the HR professional,
yes,
who do they have to turn to with regards to their health and safety? And how can you turn to someone for that extra boost and support without running the risk of the actual employee saying, well, he or she doesn't know what they're doing, they're incapable of the role, they're inept. You know how it can get sometimes. HR takes a lot of beating.
Yes, they do. So here's something that I encourage a lot of the HR professionals to think through. They are good at finding coaches for their employees. How about HR find some coaches for themselves? Find some supports for yourself in terms of psychological supports, if that is necessary, or just performance supports. There are a lot of us in the field of psychology who are also therapists, and there are many of us who are in psychology who are coaches, such as myself. So finding someone or a team that you can rely on outside of your organization. I always talk to my clients about finding people outside of your organization that can be your network of support, that can be your network of cheerleading or your network for strategizing, right? A lot of us get into jobs, stay in jobs, and think that this is the end all be all of our careers. Sometimes you need to pivot, right? The burnout rate that we've seen, as I said earlier, globally, a lot of people were saying that they've been in these jobs for so long, and COVID was a wake-up call that they recognize how detached they actually are at work now. And so sometimes people need to pivot. You either need to take a complete break, a sabbatical, as some people call it, or figure out something else that really resonates with your passion and align with that. And coaches do a wonderful job at helping individuals figure out the pivots as well as maintaining that emotional and mental stability. So I encourage human resource professionals to really think about how they feel and how they are showing up at work. Are you showing up at work checking the boxes day by day? Are you showing up and snapping at people, which is what a lot of people think HR
Yes.
does very often?
Yes. But the
So
other question
again,
I have for you, Dr.
personal
PR, is how can we reclaim the well-being for all the stakeholders in the process, especially in the
Yeah.
face of the burnout and the fact that you said that these numbers are actually climbing? How do we take that back and find that fresh energy to go at our jobs with vigor and passion?
Right. So leadership has to come into play. And I know that it can be very, very hard. I know. I've worked with several leaders in several settings, and there is a serious level of fear and denial at the leadership tier. And immediately this thing of, Lord, what is it going to cost us? Can we just do without, right? Can we minimize any cost impact? And honestly, if leaders don't recognize that they themselves need to be well, then they won't recognize it for their teams. So it really kind of is that approach where it's the top needing to recognize certain things and trickling down to the bottom, but also mid-tier managers, mid-tier leaders can navigate both for the top and bottom. And I think that is something, again, when you find supports outside to help strategize around that and to help inform about the numbers of turnover, right? Your turnover rates, looking at how disconnected people are, even if they're coming to work, that the performance levels have declined or wavered in some ways. So really thinking about what those numbers mean and backing into them from a wellness perspective, that people's performance, people's disconnection really means something else is going on. It's not just work stress. There are so many other factors that go into well-being that I think organizations are not necessarily built to acknowledge. And this is not just organizations in the Caribbean, this is organizations globally. They're not built to acknowledge well-being.
Dr.
So it's
Pierre,
really a
would
new
this
shift.
Okay, would
It
this
has to
be where
occur.
we talk about the emotional intelligence coming in so that those within the upper and middle management areas can actually recognize that it's not just about this space or this job, but there's a little bit more going on with me? Because for me, the idea of compartmentalizing is one that I do because each space is different from me, but that's me. There are other people who cannot divorce what's going on at home or at church or within the family from what happens in the workplace. Not that you're necessarily taking it out on anyone there, but it's difficult for you not to carry that burden along.
Yes, when I'm so happy that you mentioned EQ. I call it EQ, emotional intelligence. And there's another one that I want to pick up on as well called CQ, cultural intelligence. Particularly for us here in the Caribbean that have such dynamic and culturally diverse workspaces for the most part. Those two have to work in tandem, your emotional intelligence and your cultural intelligence. Understanding, yes, your level of self-awareness, how you are showing up, how you're showing up impacts others, right? That's that emotional intelligence component. And then the cultural intelligence is taking one step further. How you, as a cultural being, working in a particular cultural context, both organizational culture as well as your social culture, impacts the way that work happens.
Okay.
So thinking about those two things in tandem are very important because not everybody defines wellness or well-being in the same way, right?
It's so
You just
true.
mentioned for you, it's compartmentalizing and
Yes.
keeping things chunked in a separate way, and that's how you maneuver. For some people, it's coming to work and venting one whole heap of things, right?
Well, let's not encourage them to do that,
Let's not
Dr.
encourage
PR.
them.
Let's discourage them from doing that. We don't want any workplace
No.
animosity. I
No.
want to thank you, though, for joining us this morning, because you've given us quite a bit to unpack and think about.
Sure.
So let's try to get that mental wellness in place. Thank you so much, Dr. Carrie-Ann Piart, an organizations
Wendy.
and systems psychologist, joining us here on behalf of HERMAP. Morning Barbados, we'll be right back, and when we return, we'll be telling you a bit about Verdun and Marina House and what they're doing for Drug Awareness Month.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good
morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to be discussing Verdun and Marina House and Drug Awareness Month. And I have with me the CEO of Verdun and Marina House, Marietta Carrington, and we're going to be looking at their need for help. We know Verdun House is involved in the whole process of, drug rehabilitation and so on. But we're going to find out from Marietta exactly what their needs are and how we, members of the public, can help. Good morning to you and welcome to Morning Barbados.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Now, in terms of this need for help, what is it that the public can help you to do? Is it monetary? Is it donations in kind? What can this charity accept from us in the public?
Okay, before I jump into how they can help or how we can all help, let me just say that there have been a number of events happening for Drug Awareness Month, and there have been a lot of talk around the impact of COVID on adults in the workplace. We just had some conversation around that, but Drug Awareness Month 2024 has been focusing on strengthening prevention. What does that mean? Youth, adolescents. So that's where I want to pivot this morning.
Understood.
So when we did our internal research, we recognized, or the information that surfaced indicated that over 90% of our adult population experimented in their teen years. Now that is something that should be staggering. It should be something that we should be concerned about. And oftentimes we think of, how do we give? How do we support? The other thing that COVID did was pull back the curtain on mental health, allow individuals to feel, to think, to believe, to accept. It is okay to say, today is not a good day. I'm not feeling well. I really don't want to take on that supervisor today. Can I stay home without pretending I'm sick or have a cold? So strengthening prevention is one of the areas that Verdun and Marina has been focusing on for several years. Now, how can the public help? Oftentimes when you hear mental health, not my child. To parent, not my child. Go to church, not my child. But adolescence is a very pivotal time in the development of an adult. That transitional where thinking, where decision making can be flawed.
And anxiety is real for these little people.
It is very, very real.
In our time, we may not have seen it as such, and our parents might have just said, oh, you're just irritable today. But now we're understanding better what it is they're dealing with.
Absolutely. I was sharing with one of my colleagues, when I was a teenager many, many years ago, all this information that our teens are getting, we were not exposed to. Not that those things weren't happening, we just weren't exposed to them. So our teens, our adolescents, they have no filters for all this information that is coming in. And my appeal this morning, if nothing else landed, is that we have to pay attention to what our young people are doing, how they're doing it, and how can we support that. Now, in terms of Verdun and Marina, we have a whole series of activities happening, some in the public domain, some behind the scenes. And oftentimes we think of helping as money. Sometimes help looks like a cake, a bar of soap that can bathe somebody for 3 weeks, $3 or $2.50. Sometimes help look like how can we provide meals for those children. Sometimes help look like how do we provide a service that we would otherwise have to purchase.
Okay.
Help can look many, many different ways. So we need to pull back the curtain, open up the aperture of our hearts to see how we can help, what that help can look like, and then support that help.
So are you open to volunteerism at the organizations as well?
We actually do. In fact, our volunteer program is very structured, is very, because of the vulnerability of the adults and children, we have to make sure that individuals who are volunteering with us understand, one, for the adults, that addiction is not a behavioral problem. It is actually a disease of the brain. Mm-hmm. No one harms themselves on purpose. This is not something you can say, why he or she doesn't stop doing that, or why.
It's about not having the control.
Correct. And when your brain is hijacked, and I'm not a clinician, but I've been working in the facility for a long time, so I've picked up something along the way. It is so important to recognize that the same way if you have a disease from below the neck down to your toes, and you can get medical treatment for that, the same way you need help for above the neck. And if the head is not working, trust me, the rest of the body is not working, won't be working as effectively. So in terms of volunteering with us, yes, volunteer could look like helping us raise money. It could look like helping us come and paint the buildings, because therapeutically healthy environment is also important. It could be... Which
is the same thing we were discussing before.
Absolutely. Yeah. It could be, I have a lawnmower business. Let me come and mow the lawn, make sure that it is clean and make sure that it is healthy, the air is fresh. I have had a client said to me, Miss Marietta, this is the first time in a long time I'm breathing fresh air.
That's because you're all up there in St. John enjoying that breeze.
And the breeze, the energy in the place, the expanse of the area. On Friday, we're going to be having 40 young people come to Verdun and Marina. Why are we doing that? Because we want them to experience what it's like if you go down a particular path.
Okay.
We are going to have individuals at their age group talking about what was my experience at 12 or 13 or 15, and why not refrain from experimenting.
Okay, so that's necessary, because it's easy to tell someone not to do something, but actually having someone who's passed through it at that particular juncture that this person is now at, say, if I had somebody to pull me back, I would not now be, trying to decide what direction I'm going in. Actually hearing firsthand does help a lot. People say, oh, it's just a scare tactic you use with children, but I think it's essential sometimes that they can see, but it's also important to make sure they can handle it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things I have to say before we finish up, at whatever time that is that at the end of the day, all children want are healthy parents. You can give them anything else, but at the end of the day, what they want is a healthy mom and a healthy dad. And you will find that sometimes children will do all kinds of I'll act out in several ways just to demonstrate that I need you, my mom, I need my dad, and it is important to have that support for our children. This is a collective responsibility that we must all share. We must all champion. And our role is to destigmatize mental health, help individuals to be more empathic, help individuals to be more giving. Well, they deserve it, or that child is wayward. Not my resources, not my money, not. But I hope Drug Awareness Month 2024 has opened up the opportunity for individuals to pick up the phone, 243-0038, and that's our helpline. Speak to someone. Ask for help. How can I help?
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, a cake of soap is $3.
Because once, especially if you get to the point of addiction where you give up on life and you're not going to work, you lose the job, you know, you are going to need the regular everyday things for sanitation and so on, because a lot of people find it difficult to understand why that is usually one of the first things that goes. Individuals in a state of addiction tend not to want to care for self.
They don't know how to. They don't know how to, you know, and that's why treatment, first of all, prevention. Let's start there. Prevention is important. If you don't prevent, then you have to treat. And then once you treat, you have to then maintain. So it's not just one thing, it's a combination.
It's a ripple effect.
It is a ripple effect. Every single person knows somebody that should be either Verdun or Marina.
True.
Right? Every workplace have at least one. Right? Every family has at least one. And when mental health or addiction takes hold of a family, it takes hold of a community, it takes hold of several communities, it takes hold of a country.
Okay.
Again, collective responsibility, ensuring that we all play our part. And I go back to give.
Right, because I was about to ask what
Give.
are some of the other needs that you may have in terms of running the space. Things like bedding, other food stuff. You mentioned people to help with the ample grounds that you have in terms of keeping them well manicured and so on. But outside of that, is there need, like sometimes maybe for perhaps clothing for some of the individuals and so on?
So I'll break that down in several areas. Think of it as your house. So cleaning materials. You need chemicals to wash. You need, think of it in terms of dishwashing, clothes washing, mopping, brooms. Then that's the house. Then think of the person. Hygienic things. Soap. We can't have enough toothpaste, hand towels, and toilet paper.
Understood.
Right? Cannot have enough. Then you think in terms of the rooms. So towels, sheets. Clothes. Sometimes individuals come to us with only the clothes on their backs. Right? We encourage people to give that. Anything that you would wear, please donate. Then think in terms of the building. Paint. You've painted your house and you have half a can of paint, right? You leave it there till it gets hard to throw it away. We'll accept that because that can paint a wall, a brush,
and I
change
think
a toilet.
Color and so on in the space is
Absolutely.
important to their healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you think of Verdun with a bunch of men, sorry men, you know.
How it will get. Yeah.
Right?
So outside of bringing the stuff, is there a set schedule or program or pledge or bank account that you may have as well?
Okay, so Pace Digital we're one of their charities. So you can go onto our website, verdunmarina.com, and you can make financial donations through Pace Digital.
Right. We have it up there on the screen for our viewers to see how they can contribute per day, per year, even per month. Yes.
Correct. $1, $5, $60.
And it goes a long way.
And it goes a long way.
Yes. I want to thank you so much, Marietta, for coming out. Remember, Verdun and Marina House, they need your help. So you've seen the ways that you can contribute. And as you said, a bar soap will go a long way. So we want to thank the CEO of Verdun and Marina House, Marietta Carrington, for joining us this morning. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
With your morning news recap, I'm Wendy Burke. The private sector is again facing calls to play its part as it benefits from the reduced cost of doing business. Minister of People Employment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey says such players who are not passing on these benefits are doing an injustice to citizens and the country. Minister Humphrey was at the time contributing to the debate on the facilitation of International Maritime Traffic Bill 2024.
We have a responsibility to stay on task and to make sure that these benefits are passed on to the people. Because where else in the world are you seeing a government surrendering this amount of money at a time like this? Governments all over the world, sir, cash in. This government making a decision to surrender a significant amount of the revenue to allow, sir, business to operate at a reasonable level. But that, if we are being honest, most of us do not feel that we are seeing those benefits being passed on.
Barbadians will now have to pay a bit more for getting some legal documents witnessed by commissioners of probate. This revealed by Attorney General Dale Marshall as he spoke on the Commissioners of Probates Bill 2023 in the lower house.
We're increasing the fees to a somewhat more realistic amount. A deed other than a power of attorney. Power of attorney, the fee for the witness, for the acknowledgement of a witnessing of a power of attorney is $25. Property, a deed where the property is under $500,000, $25. Where it's over $500,000, $50. A far cry from the maximum of $4 that was allowed under the old legislation. Mr. Speaker, the fact is that this is still necessary. We still have attorneys, people involved in transactions who are trying to get documents properly witnessed. It is perhaps, as I said, of less relevant today, but still of some importance.
Education officials say only 7 students were in attendance at the St. Bartholomew's Primary School for class yesterday. That day was supposed to be the first day of the resumption of classes since last Thursday's premature closure. The Ministry of Education was made aware that an individual at the school was reportedly turning away parents with their children, citing ear effects from incineration activity at the Grantley Adams International Airport. However, a check with airport officials revealed there was no incineration activity at the plant Tuesday. Ministry officials, along with union officials, visited the school to determine the source of the discomfort being experienced. However, it remains unclear what actually precipitated the action. The school was determined to be unsuitably equipped to conduct a full day of classes, hence the closure of the school. The ministry awaits an official report on the incident. Class, though, in the meantime, will resume today at St. Bartholomew's. If all goes according to plan, Barbadians and other Caribbean nationals will have a private ferry service by year-end to travel to select regional countries. The tentative timeline for the Connect Carib ferry, which is being operated by the Pleon Group, was announced yesterday morning by its chairman and CEO, Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas. It is a separate $50 million plus US dollar venture that was announced recently by some Caribbean prime ministers.
We're looking initially at starting with 3 vessels. One will have a capacity of around about 800 passengers. It will have about 200 first-class cabins where people can lie down, sleep, with bathrooms and everything. So it's going to be a great customer experience. It will have restaurants on board. It will be very similar to a cruise experience. And then we'll have a fast ferry that will complement that. And then we'll have a cargo ship, dedicated cargo ship, that would move between Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, and St. Lucia.
More women appear to be heeding the call to get checked for breast cancer. The result has been a growing wait list for the mammograms at the breast screening program of the Barbados Cancer Society. The revelation was made by medical coordinator Dr. Shirley Jagru.
The request for screening at the breast screening program has quadrupled over the few years, resulting in physical accommodation problems, which is gross. It hurts my heart to see patients waiting in the corridor. And a waiting period of 4 to 5 weeks for screening mammograms. Hopefully, this will be corrected in the not too distant future. I'm working diligently on improvement of physical space. However, I can reassure you, urgent mammograms are done within 24 hours.
Dr. Jagru was speaking as CIBC First Caribbean International Bank presented the program with a check for $200,000, the proceeds of last year's fundraising efforts. The bank's managing director, Donna Wellington, said they included the popular Walk for the Cure, a coin drive for customers, and a highly successful online banking option for donors.
Our direct contribution of everything that we raised in 2023. And this is a very similar amount to last year. When the regional tally is calculated, it will be much more, as the bank mounts walks in every single territory in which we operate. So far, regionally, the bank has raised in excess of $3.5 million over the past 11 years for this cause.
The funds will be used to upgrade the program's 20-year-old PAC system, which is where medical images are stored. The installation, which should be done in the next 2 months, will be done at a cost of $250,000 payable over a period of 3 years. Lebanon is warning against Israeli attempts to drag the country into a broader war by expanding its attacks in the south of the country. Israel is demanding Hezbollah forces pull back from the border and says a unilateral ceasefire won't be enough. Al Jazeera's Zina Kader reports.
Israeli forces say they are targeting Hezbollah's military infrastructure. At times, that means homes in border villages. Officials in southern Lebanon say up to 250 have been destroyed and 6,000 others damaged along the 120-kilometer border in the past 4 months of fighting. Israel appears to be creating a new reality. It says it doesn't want its northern border to be vulnerable as its southern one was when the Palestinian group Hamas attacked in October. The Israelis want Hezbollah forces to pull back.
Through its attacks, Israel is trying to push their resistance kilometers away from the border, and it's doing it by force, displacement, but slowly, meter by meter, but it won't be able to achieve this.
The streets in villages in southern Lebanon are empty. Officials say that around 80,000 people close to the border have been displaced. Daily life has been disrupted, but the handful of those who stayed are defiant.
They have tried us in the past. Nothing will make us leave, not their planes, artillery, drones, or white phosphorus. We will remain steadfast because this is our land. It is Israel who should be afraid.
So far, the warring sides have confined attacks to military targets, but nearly 30 civilians, including journalists, have been killed. Officials here are warning against Israel's attempts to drag Lebanon into a broader war. They accuse it of expanding the scope of its attacks while threatening and promoting proposals that are rejected, such as pushing Hezbollah north of the Litani River, which is about 25 kilometers from the border. Hezbollah says Israeli threats to expand the conflict are just rhetoric and pressure to reach a deal. But Israel has escalated its fight against the group, and for now at least, it is trying to destroy the party's strength south of the Litani River.
That's been your morning news recap. After the break, it will be more Morning Barbados with the little golfing sensation, Ashton Okola.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And welcome back to Morning Barbados. This morning, we are going to be looking at some of our young people who have been achieving. And with us is a young golfing sensation, Ashton Okola. He's only 7 years old. He's here in studio with us this morning, along with his coach, David Marshall. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, little Ashton is not only a golfing prodigy, a champion golfer, but you are also the outstanding male sports person for 2023, the Junior Outstanding. How did that feel when you won that award, Ashton?
Well, it felt good because I won it against big people, so I feel good if I can beat big people, I could beat everyone in my age group.
Oh, that's awesome. We aim high, don't we? How is it dealing with him, David? Because he sounds like he is full of energy.
Yeah, it's inspiring, you know, it's encouraging. And he, at his age, he set the benchmark for what I could do, you know, what a child could do, right? So I have a good gauge, you know, to how far to push them.
Okay.
Yes.
But I think sometimes what he does probably amazes even some adults because what's his score now? What's he at in terms of his golfing stats?
Well, he ranked 50 in the world. The difference with golfing on a national level is one thing, but he has been able to achieve international level.
Oh.
So that is what
makes him stand out.
Yes, that
so
is it.
How did you first want to get into golf, Ashton?
Well, it wasn't really me who wanted to get into the golf, just that my parents needed to go to work, so they just dropped me off at this golf club, and then from there, when they came to pick me up, the coach said he couldn't see any 2-year-old that can hit the ball like that.
Oh.
So it was 2 at that point.
So you were from 2, you said?
Yeah.
From 2 years old, Ashton? Yeah. But I don't even know if I can get this club held. Because to me, they're just too heavy. But I'm sure you have some for your size.
Yeah.
So what do you tell your other friends who are into video games and these other things?
Well, come play golf.
That is it. Now, he would have qualified also, David, for the IMG Junior World Championships. Mm-hmm. He won the New York State Championship. What, in terms of pushing him toward achievements like this, have you seen any other local children go this far so quickly?
Well, see, that is what makes the difference, right? We have plenty good golfers locally, but when you make that transition internationally, you play in it is not no child's play. They play
it's an adult sport now.
Well, right, they play against the best. You tell them go there and have fun, but those golfers he playing against, while we are here talking, they're in a simulator, they're training, So we have to run the program in such a way that he could compete and keep up with them.
Okay. Yeah. How easy is it for you keeping up, Ashton?
Well, sometimes it can be easy and sometimes it can be hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are the easy parts and what are the hard parts?
So the hard tournaments are like IMG and Doral and...
Mm-hmm. Go on. Doral, which is in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
IMG, Doral, and...
Can't remember all of them. No. So what are the easy ones? What were the ones that you knew you were going to win, hands down?
The Pepsi Little Peoples.
Mm-hmm.
New York State Championships.
Okay. Why Pepsi Little Peoples? When you looked at the other people you were competing against, did you say, they don't have the drive I have? Exactly. I know I'm going to win it.
Yeah.
So when you're on that golf course, right, Ashton, and you stand with that club in hand behind that ball, what is going through your head? Do you say things to yourself? Do you tell yourself, this is how I'm going to aim? How do you decide which club you're going to use?
The distances tell me which club I use. For like 145, I might use a 5-wood. Mm-hmm. And what I say in my head is where I want to hit it and how to hit it.
Okay, so in terms of the how to hit it, because you seem to be very intent on your game. You don't mix sport with this sport.
Yeah.
Is that always how you were? You've always been like that, knowing what you want?
Well, from 2 to 4, I didn't really know what was happening, so I was just hitting balls. Mm-hmm.
But I understand that you also use this golf club and this ball as if they're teddy bears or toys that you would like in your bed. Is that true? You don't want to sell out these secrets. That's okay. Sometimes. Yeah, but mummies let us know sometimes. Now, winning these various championships, because you also won the Disney Under Armour tournament against the 7 and 8-year-olds, yeah? And you're wearing your Under Armour shirt now. Yeah. How was it winning that one?
It was tough, but I'm happy that I won.
Okay. What was so tough about it?
The players were very good and the course is very hard.
Oh, it's a hard course.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you know that you're from Little Barbados and you manage to win against these individuals that are internationally ranked, right? How does that feel?
Well, if I win, it feels very good that I can win against so much people who are international. Mm-hmm. And I tried to Like if I'm in Barbados, I don't play with the 7-year-olds. I try to play with like the 12 and 11-year-olds.
Okay, so when you're at home, you go several age groups up because you're that good.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, little Ashton. And you would have won a big trophy here as well in Doral. Tell me about that one.
It was hard. I was losing from the first day. The second day, I was tied. And then from the first hole on the second hole, so like the 8th hole, I got a birdie. And then the 9th hole, the last hole, I got a eagle to finish it.
Okay, so you finished in a major way.
Yeah.
Okay, that is quite awesome. Now, you said that when you won the Sportsman of the Year award here, you felt really good because it was against so many older children. So look at you here looking all smart and dressed up collecting that trophy. Look at yourself. What was going through your head at that moment?
I was just happy and...
Just happy?
Yeah.
Do you ever brag about how good you are?
Not really.
No, it just comes natural and you do it. Okay. How do mommy and daddy feel? Do they brag to their friends about how great you are?
Probably.
He says probably. I think that they do. I believe that they do. Now, when you go on the course, is your favorite like pair of shoes you wear, a favorite belt, anything you wear for good luck? No. Okay, so Ashton just gets up, dresses himself, and goes out there and does well.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there were any other sport that you could play outside of golf that you think you would be just as great at, what would it be?
Probably football and cricket.
Awesome. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get to see yourself and your coach, David, give us a little demonstration of how good you really are.
Okay.
Morning Barbados will be back in a bit with little Ashton Acola.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hello, good day. My name is Dr. Diane Brackett. I'm the Clinical Director at the Barbados Diabetes Foundation and also the lead consultant at the Diabetes Clinic.
My tip for the week is plan it. And what do I mean by plan it? If you think about it realistically, we all live very, very busy lives. And if you take the time to plan your meals and nutrition over the coming week, you'll find that you'll actually eat healthier meals, spend less money, and they'll probably actually taste a lot better. So what exactly do I mean by plan it? Where are you gonna go? What you're gonna buy? Where you're gonna shop? What about your budget? When you're gonna cook food? Maybe when you're gonna prepare snacks for maybe the kids in the week. Take this cantaloupe for example. There's so many things that I can do with this. I could actually use this to make an unsweetened natural juice. Maybe hit it with a twist of lime. I can also cut it up and just eat it as fresh fruit. Maybe I can actually make a smoothie with it, with yogurt. You know what else I love to put cantaloupe in? Salad. Or how about using it as a chutney, a pickle, add it to meats. There's just so much stuff that you can do with just the simple things that you can buy. So remember, the health of our children matters. What you put in is what you get out. So plan your best life today.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the first 4 ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, and we're back. During the break, I got to find out that Ashton is also serious about his Instagram. He goes to Providence, but he and his coach, David, are now going to show us a demonstration as to why Ashton is a big winner at all of these golfing championships. So walk us through, David, exactly what we have set up here this morning.
So what we'll demonstrate, what he did to win that big trophy, and he liked these big trophies, on a duel on the last hole to win, right? So he's now going to tee off from the tee box. Okay, so he teed off his ball. It went straight into the bunker, the green side bunker. Now he have to use his wedge, and he choose a gap wedge to hit it out of the sand. He uses gap wedge to hit it out of the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Onto the green. And then he took his putter and he put the ball into the hole for eagle. And that is what gave him the advantage. That is what gave him the advantage at Dural to get that big trophy. His biggest so far.
Okay, so when he is on the course, do you find that you have to be close by doing a lot of prompting, or does he always know what he needs to do?
No coaching.
No coaching.
No.
See, little Ashton takes the advice. He takes it well. Remember, he's on Instagram, ashton.okola, ashton.okola. He's on Instagram. You can go look at his page, see some of the great things he's been doing, because he has his videos and stuff posted. Just 7, full of energy, full of confidence, and still filled with humility about how good he is at this game. And I guess he's just like other little boys as well, just wanting to have fun and do the regular things in between as well. But he takes his golfing quite seriously. So it was so much fun having met little Ashton Okola and his coach, David Marshall. We're going to take a break and be back with more Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Kids Karaoke is a platform for young aspiring singers to shine and express their musical abilities. Tune in to CBC TV 8 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. and repeat it on Saturdays at 2 p.m. and enjoy the performances of these talented young singers.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout, or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, and it's my favorite time to turn a page. Yes, but this morning we are going to be meeting in our next chapter the author of Jam Run, Russell Brooks. He's the author of Jam Run. This is the 5th book in a series of the 5th consecutive suspense thriller. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning.
Now, first off, before we get to the book, how long have you actually been writing?
My first book came out in 2010, and that was a spy thriller, and that's how I wanted to start out. Actually, this is what I wanted to do, write spy thrillers, but by the time I came to my second book, I decided, look, it's time to do a change. I decided to do a murder mystery, and that's when I did. That's what I came up with, Eddie Barrow, in Chill Run, and this is the sequel that just came out March 31st of last year.
Okay, now this book was inspired by tragedy. We're talking about, it's based on a real life event that took place in Jamaica, the murder of a gay Jamaican teenager. Now that subject matter for some might seem a little dark.
Well, the thing is that these are stories that we read about in the paper that are in the news. And that was an incident that took place on July 21st, 2013. And it happened at a time when I was writing the Demeter Code, which was my 4th book. And it really struck me because the story was so disturbing that it made worldwide news. It made headlines in Canada, the UK, the United States, and even as far away as Australia. And reading on that, to think that something so horrific could happen to a human being.
Yes.
And that there were over 300 people, 300 potential witnesses at this dance party, and they all claimed that they did not see a thing.
anything.
See anything. That's what made it even more disturbing.
That's why this book has 72 chapters, because there's so much to unpack.
Yes.
Now, outside of being an author, you also have a number of other skill sets. You're a musician, an athlete, a violinist, right?
Yes.
You've mastered the piano, the viola, the bassoon, and even the electric bass guitar.
Yeah.
So how do you wrap all of that up and then just stick to the pen?
Well, the thing is that when I was playing 5 instruments, that was when I was in high school at the time, and eventually when I got into university, I stopped playing. I stopped playing because I was more focused on track and field. My goal was to make it to the Olympics and represent Canada, but I was always sidelined by injuries, and unfortunately, I missed out on my chance to go to the Sydney Olympics, and as a result of that, but I did manage to go to the World University Games in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, and I also represented Quebec at the Jeux de la Francophonie when they were in Madagascar in 1997, and also in Ottawa in 2001.
And those feats also gained you your scholarship to university.
Exactly. I graduated from Indiana University with a bachelor's in biology, and I use my knowledge of science to help me write some of my books.
Oh, okay, because I was just going to ask about that transition from the world of studying the body and creatures, what have you, to literature.
Creating bioweapons, fictional bioweapons.
Okay, so that's what we've done within the book. So already you can see that there's some intensity in these pages in terms of how it is set up and how it is lined up. Now, you're from Canada. Your parents are Bajan.
Yeah.
You've written about Jamaica. How important is it for you to look at these cultures through your pages and link them all to show how we connect with the diaspora?
Okay, well, for me, it was very important. For me, accuracy is very, very important. I did a lot of research because prior to writing the book, I've never been to Jamaica prior to writing the book. So, and it was my plan to travel to Jamaica to research the locations where the story takes place, but not just the locations, but also to get to know the culture, get to know the people, the Jamaican patois, the food and everything, the geography and all of it. But unfortunately, due to COVID, I was not able to travel.
Yes.
So I was still in contact with locals, and one of those locals I must give a lot of credit to. His name is Norris Douglas of Real Tours Jamaica, which is based out of Montego Bay. And my friends back home at the Jamaica Association of Montreal, they put me in contact with Norris, and also they were a big help to me with my book tours and throughout Eastern Ontario in last summer.
Okay.
And when they put me in touch with Norris, we did our conversations by Zoom.
Zoom, yes.
So we went over the entire book from the beginning to the end, and
because you must have that cultural accuracy.
Exactly, because one thing I've learned from the very beginning when I wrote my first book, Pandora's Succession, is that it's not just the average person that's going to be reading, that could potentially be reading my books. There's going to be specialists such as scientists or even police officers, maybe an FBI or even a CIA or even an MI6 agent. Okay, those who know the subject matter, and
you don't want to be questioned.
Even
though it's fiction,
exactly,
you don't want it questioned.
But even though it's fiction, there has to be a certain level of reality, okay, in the books for it to be credible.
Understood.
So that's why it was so important for me to have Norris fact-checked all the Jamaican content. Now, I don't know Jamaican patois. I've learned a little bit. I can't speak it, but before I wrote Jam Run, anyone who was speaking to me in Jamaican patois, I wouldn't be able to understand them.
Understood.
Yeah, but afterwards, yes. Right now the book is finished. Yes, I can understand. I can understand. I can pick up a few words.
Okay.
I still can't speak it. I don't have that practice yet, but these are all the things I incorporated into the book to make it sound as authentically Jamaican as possible instead of a North American stereotype of Jamaica.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be the next question from me, whether or not readers of the novel can look at it and say, why is this guy painting us in this picture? Because a lot of people have issue with that.
Of course.
That somebody from the first world would want to take things which are intrinsically our culture and our way of being and paint it in a light which is negative.
Exactly. So I made sure that research was very important to make sure that everything was factually correct as possible. Now, I'm sure I may have missed one or two things, but at least if I can get 99.9% of the book as factually correct as possible, then
you're happy.
Exactly.
Now, this is number 5, but you're already looking at another project. It's going to be another thriller, a spy thriller you're going back to, and you're looking to set it here in Barbados.
Exactly, because I'm going back to the Ridley Fox Nita Paris series, and Nita Paris, actually I should say Dr. Nita Paris, she's a Bayesian, but she's also a CIA operative, and she's a scientist. She has a PhD in both microbiology and also in biochemistry, and she was originally hired as a weapons analyst, but she's now been partnered. After the first book, she's become partnered with Ridley Fox, who is a former JTF-2, which stands for the Joint Task Force 2, which is the Canadian version of the Navy SEALs. And at this point here, in the next story, it's going to be set here in Barbados, and I don't want to give away the spoilers because I'm still researching.
We want people to read it, and there's still going to research to do, etc. Now, what I'm hearing coming through from you is that a little bit of you is weaved into each character. Not only where you're at now, but maybe perhaps where you wanted to be in terms of careers and so on.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I didn't want to be a CIA operative, and I don't know if you read Chill Run, but no way would I have done the publicity stunt that Eddie Barrow did in order to get the attention of a publisher. I never would have done something like that. That was a case of pure desperation for him. But
okay, so in terms of your characterization, what do you pull from in terms of building them out and making them full-body characters in the text?
Well, what I do is I read other books. I read articles in the newspaper and magazines, and the thing is that when I first wrote when I first wrote my first book, Pandora's Succession, there was still some difficulty in, let's say, getting to know the characters. And the thing is that when I first started with the book, I didn't know the characters as well as I did by the time I got to the end. You get to learn the characters. So by the time I wrote the Demeter Code, which is the third book in that series, yes, I had a better understanding of the characters, and it's the same thing with Jam Run.
Right. So most of the characters are interwoven into the different books.
Yes. And they learn to adapt to their current situations and all, and that helps them to develop their characters also.
Okay. How long are you going to be spending here to research the one for Barbados?
Well, I'm down here for 3 weeks, and so I arrived here Wednesday last week, so I'm here for another 2 weeks up until February 7th. So I'll be scouting locations which will be suitable where the story will take place. I don't want to say which locations because I don't want to give away the spoilers. But
I won't let you do that. we want to get the book out and read it and so on. We won't spoil it.
No.
Now, murder mystery, spy mystery book. Have you given any thought to moving beyond that to the screen?
You know, it's funny you asked that question there. One of my goals is to eventually have my books translated to the silver screen. And I met an actor at a barbecue in Montreal, and he told me, the advice he gave me, Russell, just keep writing, keep promoting your books, keep pushing them out there, and the right person will eventually spot you, and they will contact me. Okay, don't waste your time trying to contact or trying to pitch people in Hollywood, because they're too busy, and I'm a nobody to these people here, so they're not going to take me seriously. But just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing, and eventually the right people will find you. So,
okay. So outside of the writing, what else do you get up to?
Well, outside of writing, I still train, even though I don't run track and field anymore. I retired in 2007, but I still work out, and yeah, I want to keep fit. I want to stay healthy. I don't want to fall apart.
Because people think that brain energy is easy, but it takes just as much out of you as physical engagement. It does. It does. So, Barbados book, number 5. But what else is going on for Russell? Family, friends, what else do you engage in?
Well, I'm down here not just here to tour, but I'm here to visit my family, because I still have a lot of many cousins, aunts and uncles that live here. I have family all over. I have family in California, New York, Atlanta, Toronto.
So you stay
England,
connected.
Yeah, England, even I have an aunt who moved from England down to France right now. So
okay, well, maybe we'll see a French spy novel coming up. Russell, I want to thank you very much. Jam Run by Russell Brooks. It's the 5th in his series of mystery, suspense thrillers, and all the spying and everything. Russell Brooks, an author to look out for. Thanks for coming.
I'll be at the girlfriend special. I'm going to be at the girlfriend's.
Oh, okay. He's going to be at a special event this weekend.
Not this weekend, the 3rd and the 4th.
The 3rd and the 4th,
Yeah,
right, in February. So we can look out for him there as well. Thank you so much, Russell, for coming this morning. And Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacey Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we are back. Now we had the writing, now we're going to another area of creativity. We're going to be looking at the Jeff SGP UNDP Crochet for a Cause project. And Nikisha Toppin, the founder of Elaine's Caribbean Crochet, is here with me. Now, I know Elaine with another hat altogether, but this morning she has brought along a lot of her crochet, and we're going to be talking about this project because it is dealing with the Ridge to Reef projects, and crochet is at the center of that. Now, in terms of the whole event, this is perhaps for you all the second iteration of it through the Global Environment Facility, the Small Grants Program, and it's under the UNDP umbrella. Now, Nikisha, how did you get agencies like those interested in something like crochet?
Okay, thanks so much for that question, Wendy, and thanks for having us on today. The grant call would have been done in 2022 by the UNDP requesting community empowerment and environmental partnership projects. And in doing our research, there's an international organization, the Crochet Coral Reef, with where they create hyperbolic, which would be 3D representations of the coral in handicraft form. So using that as our template, we would have been able to now create Crochet for a Cause Ridge to Reef project. And thankfully, it was approved by the UNDP when we submitted the proposal.
Okay.
So as you said, this is the second rollout of the program.
Now, what is the inspiration behind your crochet? Who is the driving catalyst? Why do you do it? I mean, normally you're on my side of the fence, but now this is a creative end. Who put this passion in you?
Well, definitely it was my grandmother. She was a handicraft tutor, and because she would have taught me to crochet from being on her knee as a young babe, I would have learned it. And over the years, I've decided to use it as a tribute of love to her. And we've established Elaine's Caribbean Crochet as a means of empowering handicrafters so that their businesses can be more financially sustainable, more than a hobby, but an income generating opportunity.
Awesome. Now, how does the project also contribute to community development? Because we're talking about empowering women, but as we full know, not only women crochet,
Exactly.
men do as well.
Definitely. So we've definitely been able to introduce different workshops, seminars, webinars, where we help persons learn about how they can make their business more successful. And the workshop we're currently doing at Crochet at the Center, at Norman Center, enables the community to come together. We're bringing together the crochet artisans to use handicraft as a way to bring about environmental awareness. The empowerment aspect as well is that the crochet artisans that participate are able to have their products on display to get sales from the tourists and locals who visit us at the Norman Center location. We do have males who have expressed interest. We have even spoken to BNHO Crochet, which is Sean Lane. He uses crochet as a mental health expression as well. So it's definitely, as we have been empowering women, we can expand it to men, because there are men who crochet as well.
Okay. Now, in terms of the participants who are engaged in the current workshop, what types of creations can they be expected to make? Will they only go along the lines of the reef, or can they go outside of that realm?
We have ensured to have crochet patterns available so that they can go outside of the realm, because we want to develop the skills and ensure they have transferable skills that make them develop and grow not only in the Ridge to Reef aspect, but definitely within a variety of crochet opportunities. The versatility of crochet allows you to make clothes. Not only does it allow you for the environmental awareness that we're using it for, but it gives you so much opportunity that we wanted to help crochet artists develop in different areas. We have the knitting machines available. If you don't know how to crochet, it's a machine that has 48 needles. You turn the crank, it can make bags, it can make scarves.
So I can be helped.
You can be helped.
We
have the loom machine as well. So definitely visit us at Norman Center so that you can not only pursue the crochet, but learn about other craft as well.
Okay. Now, in terms of the projects and entrepreneurship and, pushing the support, how far are we going beyond the workshop?
What we have ensured to do is have Crochet School is Cool, which is our business development course that persons can take. It takes you through fashioning your crochet, the 4 P's of crochet, meaning how you're going to sell your product, where you're going to place your product. So it gives them the foundational information for business development and for marketing skills to be developed. We also have crochet classes, and it's been very beautiful to have the young women come in and learn to crochet from the experienced artisans. There's a variety of opportunity within Crochet for a Cause. The display that we have at the window always pulls in the tourists. We've ensured to have both Spanish and French translations of what we're saying, so that when they come in, we just give them the paper to read, so that they are able to understand. So it's truly ensuring that we have the environment awareness being spread not only locally but internationally as well.
That is awesome. Now, you spoke before about a male who looks at using crochet for mental health. What impact does it really have on you? How because for me, while I love to see it, the process is a little much.
It's too much?
Yeah.
You need to come out classes then.
Okay, because maybe you can help me sort that fogginess.
Definitely.
Yeah, so how does he use it
Okay, so
effectively?
crochet is therapy. We have held a seminar where we had Anna Cumberbatch. She is a counselor from the Ministry of Environment as well. She would have worn her 2 hats and helped us to understand how crochet can be used as therapy within your own life. The therapeutic aspect of it is the repeated motion creates a sensation within your brain that makes you calm, makes you peaceful. ADHD persons use it. Within institutions, they also have it as a mental health activity to keep people within strong mental ways. So I think crochet helps you in so many ways other than just being a hobby. It's also something that can keep you calm through the repeated actions.
Okay, now I see that we have Talking Nemo.
Yes.
Nemo, the cartoon, because we're dealing with the reefs. So we're looking at some of the fish that would be found under there. We have a stingray.
Yes, that was
we have all kinds of things. The coral has me. From the time I saw this, I understand what it was. So now I know definitely what the project is and how it's being celebrated.
Yes.
You know?
So we have been able to bring together the crochet artisans, and each of them have contributed what you see on the table here. We have Sandy Craft Creations doing the chattel houses using canvas. We have Crochet Nooks by Anne. She did this tube sponge coral for us. We also have the vegetables to encourage you to plant a garden.
Okay.
So that we
so the GIFts program is looking at all of the facets of these UN programs are plugged into crochet. So crochet really is at the center.
It is, in terms of the ridge to reef, showing you how you can protect the land and sea environment. So we create land replicas in terms of the vegetables to encourage you to have your own home garden. And we create replicas of the sea to encourage you to protect the sea when you go to the beach. To not do any dumping.
So these would be around us, so there would be constant reminders of what we need to do as individuals for our environment. I want to thank you so much for coming this morning, Nikisha. You see how they say you know people, but you don't always know people? I am happy to hear about this project and the fact that it's reaching out to both men and women, young and older, to get them involved with crochet and also the environment in terms of what we're doing. So I want to thank Nikisha Coppin, Crochet for a Cause, the Ridge to Reef Project, Crochet at the Center. Morning Barbados will be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb. From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, general practitioner and healthy lifestyle advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the community this Thursday.
You know why?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yes, we had a packed morning. I enjoyed every little bit of it. Cultural intelligence, emotional intelligence from Hermap. Marietta Carrington, go on out and make your pledges to Verdun and Marina House. Little Ashton Okola, he is so awesome. And also we would have heard from the author Russell Brooks looking at doing those spy mysteries and thrillers. Yes, but tomorrow is going to be a big day too. We're going to be talking to the Barbados Society of Psychology, and we're going to be looking at our mental health. So join me tomorrow, Thursday, for more Morning Barbados. I'm Wendy Burke. Enjoy your day.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.